Hey, welcome to Film Fury. My name is Victor Lucas. My buddy Johnny Millennium has not watched Narcos, so I said, well, I'm a huge fan. I'm going to review Narcos Season 3, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But first, we have to thank our pals at the VFS School of Film. Now, Narcos, if you haven't been paying attention to the Netflix show, is one of the most incredible pieces of television I've seen in many, many years. We're up to the third season right now. The first two seasons were about the rise and fall and rise again and fall again of Pablo Escobar, played by Wagner Moura. And huge spoiler alert, Pablo Escobar in real life and in the show died. And so the question was, with Season 3, where were they going to go? Because Wagner Moura was so incredible in the first two seasons. He was absolutely magnetic, and he cast a long shadow over the show. And so the thought was, well, how can they keep going? Well, the producers behind Narcos said, well, we're going to dig deeper into the Cali Cartel, which was one of the most infamous drug cartels in Colombian history and world history. And they did some unspeakable things, some horrific things. And if you're just looking at this show, whether you start from Season 1 or jump back in on Season 3, as a place to kind of look at the darkness of humanity and sort of get that titillation and that shock and that horror, Narcos delivers that, but it also delivers a lot of the intrigue and the subterfuge and the behind-the-scenes kind of political mess that the drug industry has created, not only for Latin America, but also for the United States and frankly the whole world. And it really digs deep into that society, into that culture, and it shows humans at their darkest, and it's really, really frightening. The way that Season 3 kind of lifts off is that the remaining godfathers of the Cali Cartel kind of take over for Pablo Escobar, and they carve up the business. They send one of them to New York City, and one of them deals with its relationships with the Mexican drug lords. And the two brothers, Gilberto and Miguel, stay in Cali, but go underground and just sort of run their operation that way. And they try to stay hidden from the DEA agents that are after them. Boyd Holbrook, who was kind of the lead in the last two seasons, isn't in Season 3. Pedro Pascal steps up as the lead agent and also the narrator. And the series has done an incredible job of mixing in fact and actually showing newsreel footage from, operations and from arrests and from killings that happened back in the day. But it also fuses together some, accounts of what happened. And what's interesting is Pedro Pascal's character wasn't actually involved in any of these operations. He was involved in the first two seasons. So there is a little bit of embellishment that's happening in Season 3, but I mean, you can see it in the newsreel footage. Things went crazy, and this is a good representation of how crazy things got for the Cali Cartel and for everybody that was kind of hunting these guys down and trying to put an end to it. There was a lot of corruption to deal with. There was a lot of crime to deal with. A lot of really, key central figures in Colombian politics were involved. The CIA was involved. And what I'm telling you is that Season 3, although it doesn't pack that wallop that Season 1 and 2 did, frankly, because Pablo Escobar was so magnetic, it's still a fantastic season of television, and it's really, really interesting. The one thing that I will say is because the story is threaded across four key central players, and we spent some time with Chepe in New York and Pacho, running around and committing some really vindictive crimes on people that oppose him, is that it's kind of scattered a little bit and it's split focus a little too much. And, the show does a pretty big job of following these characters all over the place. And also we see a lot more familiar American actors in cameo roles in this one, kind of suggesting that actors all over the world are really paying attention to the quality of what Narcos has represented. Season 3 is still fantastic, though, don't get me wrong. It's not as good as Season 1 and 2, but Narcos Season 3 is, you cannot miss this show. You gotta watch Season 1 and 2, but you're gonna fall in love with Season 3 as well. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So if you're inspired by shows like Narcos and you would like to go off one day and make one yourself, you know what? You can learn how to do that in the one-year program at the VFS School of Film. Go to VFS.edu for more info.